Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew. You know the drill. We're back at it again with the Reddit stories. So let's jump into it, shall we? My family came to visit me for 2 weeks and stole over $500 worth of stuff from my apartment. I live in a tiny 1-bedroom. My parents invited themselves over to live here for 2 weeks. They live over 1,000 miles away and drove here to my city. They couldn't afford to pay for a hotel, and I felt rude if I didn't let them stay. It was a mess. They slept on a blow-up mattress, and I couldn't walk anywhere without tripping. The first day, my mom threw everything out of my bedroom closet because I needed to organize, and she took photos of everything. I noticed my mom stashing some of my clothes away in my little sister's suitcase. When I called her out, she called me selfish and denied it. She had several meltdowns and temper tantrums when I told her to stop going through everything I own. Sneakily, over the first week, she kept digging and finding stuff I was hiding on purpose, and she got mad at me for having condoms and alcohol. My dad got really upset about that too. It's been a couple days since they left, and I just noticed all the clothing they stole from me and makeup. I had hundreds and hundreds of dollars of makeup that I can't afford to replace. My bathroom cabinet was completely wiped out. I honestly feel betrayed and feel like I have nobody to trust now, not even my own family. My mother and sister are denying everything. They said I never had it to begin with. Update: I confronted/called my mom, and she admitted to taking this stuff I noticed missing. There are some things that are gone, but she won't admit to it. She paid me back for those items and sounded distraught on the phone. I told her it would be cheaper to just send a package, but she says it would be more expensive. I doubt that. She just wants the items she took. I don't know why she wouldn't just use the money she sent me to buy them herself instead of using used makeup. My dad's gonna find out they stole things when he sees that, if he doesn't already know. My sister admitted to taking one item, but I know she has more. I don't even know where to start with my clothes. They took items I wore less that were in the back of my closet, so I can't keep track. I'm definitely not letting them come back, and they don't have a key. I originally moved far away to escape them, but over time, I've let my guard down because I'm not around them as much. If I ever do go back home, I'm gonna do some digging. I'm still in shock and don't really understand how I feel right now. My mom did this because she thought I wouldn't notice. She asked for items I had while she was here, and I told her no. The morning they left, my mom told me to sleep in while they were packing, and she took those items. You guys already know that No Contact Oprah is here to say, OP, you go no contact, you go no contact, you go no contact. I personally would have kicked them all out the minute my mom started snooping through my stuff and taking pictures of it. But the fact that OP didn't, and just judging by OP's pretty nonchalant reaction to all of this, shows that her family has done stuff like this before, and that this behavior is relatively normal to OP, which makes me really sad for OP. I'm glad that OP moved far away from them because she obviously already knows the type of people her family are, so I strongly advise to going back to putting that guard up with them. Mom is playing the victim card by quote-unquote sounding distraught on the phone only because she got caught. And I know times are tough, but she literally stole from her own child. She is not the victim, and she knows what she did. In fact, they invited themselves to OP's house, so this was probably their plan all along. And the reason she can't just send the stolen stuff back in a package is probably because she sold it all already. And it's pathetic, and you do not need people like this in your life. Entitled Mother insists that I share my Nintendo Switch with her child on my flight. This just happened the other day, and after sharing this story with friends and family, a few of them suggested that I share it here. The scene is a Southwest airline flight. I was sitting in a window seat next to two lovely women, and directly horizontal from us was an empty seat, a mom, and her son. The flight was taking off. For those who don't know, you are required to stay seated and keep your seatbelt seatbelt on for the beginning of the flight until the captain says otherwise. I was strapped in my seat and decided to take out my Nintendo Switch from my carry-on beneath my feet. "Excuse me, ma'am?" I didn't realize at first that the mother in the seats horizontal from me was trying to get my attention. She unbuckled her belt and moved to the empty seat by the aisle, closer to me. "Ma'am, with the video game?" I lifted my head. The stranger next to me nudged me as well. "That lady wants your attention." I turned my head to see this woman leaning across the aisle with her hands on the armrest of the aisle seat in my row. "Sorry," she began. "I just wanted to know if there was any way that my son could use that game for a little while." "I'm so sorry. My Nintendo Switch is just really important to me. I don't feel comfortable giving it to anyone I don't know. I don't even let my sisters play with it." I was going to continue, but the woman cut me off. "Oh, my son's not like most kids. He's not destructive. His cousin has one of those, and he knows how to play." She smiled and set her hand out. The two women seated next to me looked at me, as if they were also in disbelief. "I'm sorry," I said again. "I just don't feel comfortable. I brought it here for me." "How old are you?" the woman said in a huff, retracting her hand and slapping it on her lap. "I'm 25, but I don't see how that matters," I replied, growing exceptionally uncomfortable. "Well," she began, clearly sounding agitated. "My son is 8. This is an hour and 45-minute flight, and he just wants something to do. He can't just see it for a few minutes." "No, I am not comfortable with that. I'm sorry, but I'm expecting you to understand, since this is my property." I put my head down and I unpaused my game, as to ignore anything she had further to say. "Are you serious?" She seemed genuinely livid. "Well, child's name? Sorry, buddy. Not everyone knows how to share." Her child started whining and kicking the seat in front of him. "Thanks for this," she said to me. "A sweet kid just wants to share with you, and you're being ignorant about it." Before I even opened my mouth, one of the ladies in my row snapped back at her. "How dare you bring that energy on this plane? She told you so kindly that she doesn't feel comfortable with passing her electronics to a stranger." The mother wasn't having it. "She's an adult and can't share with a child for a few minutes of a nearly 2-hour flight? You should have brought something for him to do then," the woman in my row responded. It shut her up good. At the end of the flight, the woman collected her luggage from the overhead bins and said, "I hope you're happy going against God's word, not sharing with a child." I've come across entitled people in my life, but this strange lady took the cake. The perfect comeback at baggage would have been to ask the chapter and verse where this was going against God's word. "Thou shalt not hog the Nintendos." Karenithians 4:20. "Thou shalt giveth thine property to me, bitch." Right. I forgot Jesus said that. Honestly, I wanted to read this story solely for the comments at the end. I howled. As we all know, Nintendo Switches are Karen magnets. I think I'm going to bring mine on the next flight I go on, just to see if I can get a good story out of it. I just go out looking for Karens at this point, just so I can write stories for you guys. I just turn into a Karen hunter. It's like Van Helsing, but with Karens. I go out in Van Helsing cosplay, wielding a Nintendo Switch and Starbucks. Dedicate my life to being the manager for every closing shift, just waiting for Karens to order 1 minute before the store closes so that I can tell her to pound sand. Yeah, that sounds fun. Wow, sorry, got lost inside my own brain there for a second. Anyway, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed these 2 entitled people / parent stories. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!